This is chapter number 3, ruling the countryside. Countryside means village, gaon, gramin kshetra. So whose shasan or whose administration we are talking about? Britishers or British rule we are talking about. Before we go ahead, I would like to see you this picture. And here you see Shah Alam and here is Robert Clive. So this is Robert Clive accepting the Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. And this happened in 1765. So this is a question also in your text. So 1765 company got the Diwani. Please remember 1765 Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. We'll concentrate on Bengal. So there is one line, it is being written here that this Diwani was clearly a great event, because after that things changed in Indian panorama, Indian subcontinent. So this picture, it's being shown that it's just a tent and few people are there. And this happened in Robert Clive's tent, just few Englishmen and just few Indian people as witnesses. So this happened on 12th August 1765. So now Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II is giving or handing over the Diwani or the Chief Financial Administrator rank or post to the East India Company. So whatever Clive did, he had a permanent picture maker that is called a painter, and he would paint everything or every event, good event of his life. So first we need to understand what is Diwani, that is Chief Finance Administrator or administration. Because now the Bengal, Odisha and Bihar, the Diwani is with East India Company, right? Diwani means that if we talk about Bengal specifically, then all the places, all the resources, all revenue producing resources are now under control of company. So whenever I'll talk about company, please understand I'm talking about East India Company. So now, first thing, because this is a wide area, it's not a small place. You still see West Bengal, and previously it was all Bangladesh, etc. So the resources, the sansadhan, whatever is there, which can produce money, which can give revenue, salary, amount, paisa, money. It can be a tax. It can be in terms of revenue. It can be lagan. So all kind of like today we have the income tax, the GST, all these taxes at that time, whichever name you give, all are under the control of East India Company. Now East India Company was expanding. So now when it is expanding, its own expenses they were also expanding. They were incurring quite a lot of expenses. So all these revenues which they were getting or they will get, all these expenses of the company will be covered by the taxes got by Bengal. So here Shah Alam, Robert Clive, his name will come again and again, Robert Clive. Okay. The company was quite smart. It knew that we are an alien power. We are coming from a land which is quite far from India. And this company, in any place, whichever place is there, it would have some Sardar, chieftains. A company cannot go there and provide their authority or impose their valor. Now they took care that these people who are already enjoying the authority and the prestige, that is those people who are the headmen, those people who are being respected, they kept their sanctity. That is how I'll talk about zamindars and later the headman village mukhiya. How did they manage to have mahalwari and rayatwari with them and permanent settlement? We'll talk about that. But you need to understand, they always kept between the village and themselves the people who are important to that place. So we'll see in this discussion how this company colonized the countryside. So we are not talking about the urban area. We are not talking about the presidency area like the the Calcutta or the Madras or the Bengal, Calcutta and Bengal. These Bengal, Mumbai and Chennai. They were the presidencies. But we are talking about the countryside. Countryside means we are talking about Gramin Kshetra, villages, Gaon. Okay, how they organize the different revenue resources, from where they will get money, how they organize, manage them, and then how does this affected the rights of people, because people were having not that much right, but still they were having rights. But how this control, Diwani and company, change their rights or redefine their rights, whether it is for good or bad, we'll see just now. And also, because all these places, Indian places, are quite fertile, so how they imposed, persuaded, or imposed in a powerful manner the crops that the cultivator would grow of their benefits. Please remember, money, money, money. It's all money. Everything is going on money. That is, there are only two things in the world why the people are fighting, why the people are, that is paisa and power, money and the strength. So power and money. Revenue. Revenue is what? Revenue is I. It's the money they were getting or anybody would get. So company, now they have become a diwan, that is the chief finance administration they have. Okay, but still company at this point of time, 1765, they still treated themselves as traders, not more than that, only traders, right? They wanted money from the Diwani they got. They wanted a specific amount of money, right? And they wanted to increase that revenue also. But they were still behaving as traders, only vyapar, as merchants. So now the money which is coming from, that is the land revenue, land tax coming from a place, they were not ready to assess this area. Means they just want only collection. That is, they were not willing to have a proper regularized system of assessing the land, how to collect the revenue of the land. They don't want to do that, right? They have to ultimately do that. But right now, 1765 and onwards, they were not interested at all, right? Because, the only thing they wanted is to buy cotton, silk and spices. This is the only thing they were interested in, because these things have huge market and demand in the European market. So in European market, they would take them and sell them in huge profits. If you see, when they got this Diwani, in 5 years, the cotton, silk, spices they were buying from Indian subcontinent, it doubled. It doubled in just 5 years after getting their Diwani. So let me talk about just Bengal. This is, as I said, if they would be buying 100, now they were buying 200, say kg or any unit take it in. Before this 1765 or 1865, let me tell you. Okay, so 1865 is very specific. Now before that, now I've come 100 years ahead. So before this, whatever money they have to trade, there is no currency, only gold and silver was there. So they would bring Sona and Chandi, gold and silver, and on the trade of gold and silver, they would take this cotton, silk and spices. But now they have Diwani. So now they don't have to bring this gold and silver. They don't need that, right? So let me tell you that this 1865, I need to change it to 1765 because I'm just going to 1770, right? So we need to change it to 1765. Okay, because this is your NCERT book, it is given 1865, so I referred 1865, but I don't think so. Okay, let us go to Bengal. Now the Bengal economy, because the company was not ready, so the artisans were deserting the village. They were just fleeing. Okay, the artisans were not getting any money. The economy was in deep crisis. And these artisans were forced to sell whatever goods they produce at a very, very low prices. When you force an artisan or a kashtkar to sell the stuff in low amount, how can they survive? And second thing is, for this Kashtkar and the peasants and the farmers, they were forced or imposed a lagan or tax, which they were unable to pay. They can't pay. That is, give 200 lagan, they are only producing 50. How can they pay? So it was incomprehensive. So the artisans, even the peasants, they were not able to pay the dues, the amount, the lagan, right? So that is how the artisanal production, because artisan Bengal is all about art. Okay, we are not just talking about the agriculture. We are talking about cotton. We are talking about silk, spices. All these comes under artisanal production. Okay, so now this declined artistic work or anything which is Kashtkari based, it declined. It was coming from agriculture also. Agriculture cultivation also collapsed. It is given clearly here that agriculture cultivation actually collapsed. Now that was the last nail in the coffin which happened, and this happened in 1770. 1770. So these all situation you just came to know because of the deep crisis of Bengal economy. 1770 there was a great famine, Indian famine, which happened in Bengal. Akal, famine. Here, no food, no water, nothing. People dying of hunger. 10 million people. 10 million. 1 million is 10 lakh. Okay. So if I say, if you just assume that it is 30 million, 1 million, as I said, 10 lakh people. So 30 million, 10 million people died. 10 million people died. Okay. In 3 crores, 1 crore died. Wiped out. 1/3 of the population. So you can imagine the plight, the situation of Bengal at that time. So this is Murshidabad area. You know that Murshid Quli Khan, he made this as his capital. I've got a very good picture. But these hut cannot remain because Hal was Behal. Okay. Now this is the picture of the Akal or the famine which happened at that time. They were not having any money, They don't have water, they don't have anything to eat. So people fled, or whosoever remained, they died. Okay, now you understood the situation after getting the Bengal Diwani. These company people, they have to think something because now everything has gone to vain. So I am talking about 3 kind of settlement or the system they organized. These are the land revenue policy that they devised, because they were only thinking about trading before. Now after these all happened in Bengal, they actually doubled their income in 5 years, right? Or not income, but the buying capacity. But what about the people? Because if people are not there, how they are going to work? How they are going to go ahead with their Raj administration? So now company officials, they felt that this will not work. We have to invest, we have to take care of land. That is, we have to improve the level of agriculture. We have to do some good work. Otherwise, we will not be able to. What is the faida? What is the profit of getting the Diwani? Okay? Because if you invest, then only you will get the profit. But they were reluctant previously. But now, they took 20 years, that is 20 years of deliberation, company official did, and finally in 1793, Charles Cornwallis, you see here, he introduced a land revenue policy that is called as permanent settlement. Okay, so just all this idea you got. Now because of that, finally they have to come up with certain land revenue policy that is called permanent settlement. Land revenue policy, 3 type of land revenue policy will be there. We'll talk about one by one. First is permanent settlement. This Sthai Bandobasti, permanent settlement. After that, this Mahalwari came and Rayatwari came. So Mahalwari, it was Mackenzie. Rayatwari, it was Thomas Munro. So now these 2 came almost simultaneously, Rayatwari and Mahalwari, but in different places. That is, the problem with the permanent settlement was there. And that is how Raitwari came in the southern India part and Mahalwari came in the northern India belt. So these were the system which tried to solve the problems of permanent settlement. So let us see about this permanent settlement first. What was the idea of this? So the permanent settlement was basically in 1793 it was introduced, this policy, this land revenue policy, 1793 permanent settlement. Now the Rajas and the Talukdars, as I told you, the Englishmen, they always kept these in between, means people and the East India Company, they always have some Raja or Talukdars. Those people who are respected, they have prestige, they have their power there. So taluka is a kind of, you can say, a smaller part of a district. Okay, so now this East India Company, they made or recognized this Rajas and Talukdars as the Zamindars. They said, you are Zamindar. Who? Rajas and Talukdars. The big people of that some certain locality, they said, you are now our Zamindar. Okay. So what is the work of Zamindar? The Zamindar has to pay a fixed amount of revenue to the company. That is, the Zamindar will take the Lagan tax from the peasant and farmer and now take this revenue and give it to the company. This is the work of Zamindar. Now the Zamindar, assume he to be Zamindar. Okay. So Zamindar has to give fixed revenue, that is, say this is your area, you have to give us say 500 rupees. I am taking an example, all are examples. So give us 500 rupees. Okay. Now company wanted a regular source of income, fixed source of income, because they are different land and this is for the one land. So different land, they were getting say 500, 500, 500. So they might be getting some say 10,000 rupees, or for example, this is a fixed income they wanted, because till now they just don't want to be getting inside or coming out of the trading fact. Okay. So this 500, maybe Zamindar getting 700, so he may be getting 200 of profit. Okay. So the company was thinking, okay, keep this 200, just give us 500 rupees. That is, you keep the profit, but give us this 500. So the company thought that this 200 which extra Zamindar is getting, he will do some improving in the land. Okay. That is, in order to keep this agriculture to a good level, improvement, the Zamindar will do something. So in permanent settlement, the amount was fixed. Permanent settlement took 20 years to deliberate. And the problem was, the Zamindars, see, the problem started here. The Zamindar were not putting any money in order to improve the land. Now what is the problem? The problem was that the Zamindar was not even getting that money, 500 rupees. So he was not able to pay company the fixed amount. How can a Zamindar can improve the land? Okay. So this 500 rupees on the Zamindars which were imposed were too high. For example, 100 rupees were imposed, it would be better. But 500 is too much for them. These all are examples, right? So the amount which revenue has to be given to company, the Zamindar cannot pay. Zamindar were not getting that money. It was huge for them. Okay. So 500, the Zamindar was not able to pay. Sometimes he is getting 200, sometimes he is getting 100. So why he is not getting? So company would do what? He will just remove this person from the Zamindari and the company will nilam it. Okay, do the auctions. So through auctions, he will give this Zamindari to somebody else. But the revenue cannot extend. The Zamindar cannot be getting money if any Zamindar. Okay. See, just assume that Zamindar is getting some money also, profit. Let's assume. Okay. But the revenue which the company was getting were only 500. That is, if company wants to increase their fixed income from all the land from 10,000 to 15,000, they can't. Because The company has in permanent settlement, the word permanent says that the revenue was fixed. And one more thing, until this zamindar was getting rent from the land, that is, they will give it to the tenants, batai par, to somebody, and if he is getting money like the company was getting, why would zamindar do anything for the land, for the betterment of the land, for betterment of the peasant and farmer? He'll not do anything. So this zamindari system, which we are also calling as sthai bandobasti or permanent settlement, the peasant, zamindar will take money from peasant and it will give it to the British government. So zamindar, the amount was too much, he was not able to pay, and zamindar will force the peasant, and that was the all problem, and the revenue also cannot be changed by the company. Now this cultivator, as I said, the cultivator or the peasants and the farmer, they find this policy very, very oppressive, extremely oppressive, because this is damankari. Why? Because the zamindar is forcing us to give this much of lagan or tax. We are not able to pay the tax. Zamindar, gomashtas and all those zamindar agent would come and they will take the rent, whether the farmer produce or not. Okay. So now the zamindar asking money and the peasant cannot give, so they will go to some money lender, to any person who can give them loan, the mahajan or the money lender. So the peasant will go to them, they will take the money as loan, and when the loan they cannot pay, because eventually farmers cannot pay this land, and finally what they did, the mahajan or these money lender will take their land. So first thing is, the peasant farmer cannot pay rent. Second thing, they are in debt trap because of the money lender money they have taken, and when they took the loan, they will be evicted from the land by this money lender, because money lender will take some collateral, right? So this collateral can be the land. So now they were losing everything. Okay. So here is a difference I have already provided. Now all the problems you understood, these were all the problems. Now early 19th century, the officials knew that there is a problem in the permanent settlement. There is some or the other situation which are arising. Okay. The revenue system, land revenue policy needs to be changed. The permanent settlement is not working. Right? So now they have to change. See, the company was not interested in what is happening to zamindar or what is happening to the peasant farmer. They just wanted this 10,000 need to be made 20,000. They wanted to increase the amount. They were not interested in others. But permanent settlement, they have fixed the revenue. They will always get 10,000 whatever happens. So now they need to increase it also or decrease it also. So they have to devise new system, and this system is Mahalwari and the Rayatwari. Okay. Now if you see this land, the upper part of Bengal, which is now mostly Uttar Pradesh. Okay, Bengal presidency I am talking about. So at that time, Bengal, Bombay presidency and Chennai, that is the Mumbai, Madras presidencies were there. So here in the upper part of the Sanyukt Prant, here a man called Holt Mackenzie. The name is Holt Mackenzie. I am talking about Mahalwari. Whenever you talk about Mahalwari, it's Holt Mackenzie. Now he was here, the upper part of Bengal. So Mahalwari, as I said, this is the upper part, Sanyukta Prant or the United Provinces, which is today called as Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh was United Provinces earlier. So this mineral system we'll just talk about, it was in southern India. It was not in northern India. So Holt Mackenzie, he understood that we have to have a new system. So in 1822, Holt Mackenzie introduced a new system. He knew that the village, that is the gram or a gaon, is the basic individual unity, social institution in northern India society. In North India, today's Madhya Pradesh and little bit of Madhya Pradesh, this preservation of the land and the peasant and the farmer is required. Holt Mackenzie understood that. So he said he sent all the district collector. He sent district collector to go to inspect, to measure to measure the land, to measure the field, and also know and understand the custom and rights of the people, different groups, because India, we have different groups, right? Ethnic groups also, and religious and cultural groups. So again, let me tell you, Hod magazine sent district collectors to inspect, measure the land and try to find out custom and rights and estimate the revenue of each plot. And then you calculate this for whole village, Mahal. So this village is called Mahal. That is the combined amount of all the this see. So whatever land is in village, okay, when you combine this is the amount, this is the revenue a Mahal or a village has to give. So Mahal is not just one gaon, it can be more than one gaon or one land. Okay, so this is Mahalwari system. That is, Mahal means one village or maybe more than one village. It can be more than one village. It can be one village, two village, three village. But this Mahal is a fixed entity, and now this has been inspected and the revenue is being say estimated for a Mahal. Okay, that is why it is called Mahalwari. They have fixed an area and the land revenue also they fixed. That is, they were saying from this Mahal, please give us 1,000. In Bandobasti, it was always 1,000. But Holtz Mackenzie said, no, it shouldn't be 1,000. We can increase it to 1,200. We can increase it to 1,500 also. So if some famine and some problem is there, we can reduce it to 800 also. So Mahal, let me tell you, Mahalwari is all about Mahal. Mahal is a village or it can be a group of village, and that group of village or a village needs to give some money to the company. So combined money of that Mahal has to be given to the and it is not fixed. Bandobasti, Sthai Bandobasti amount was fixed. Here it was not fixed. It can be changed. So it can be revised periodically. This amount can be revised periodically, maybe in month or 3 months. Okay. In the permanent settlement, the person was Zamindar who would give the money he will collect the money and give it to the company. But in Mahalwari system, the village headman, Gaon ka Mukhiya, the headman of the land or the area was given the authority, not the Zamindar. But the Mukhiya was given the authority that now you will collect the revenue and now give us to the company. So this is the Mahalwari settlement Vyavastha. I hope you got the idea, Mahalwari. Okay. So we are in continuity. So let us discuss the Munro system also. Munro system is again an improvement to the permanent settlement. So here you see a handsome man. He's called Thomas Munro. He was the governor of Madras from 1819 to 1826. In Munro system, it's kind of Mahalwari, but it was in southern part of India. So this is the northern part where Mahalwari system was there. In the southern part, this south area, it was basically a Rayatwari system. So a kind of same system, but the places are different. Okay, so the same system of permanent settlement was there in south also. Okay, so we have Rayatwari system. Now how it started? Let me write it, Rayatwari. Rayat is what? First understand what is Rayat. Rayat means a person who cultivates on his land. So a cultivator is called Rayat. Please remember Rayat, and the land on which he cultivates is called Rayati. R-O-I-R-Y-O-T-I. So before Munro, there was a person, he actually started. His name was Captain Alexander Reed. Alexander Reed. Now when the company fought with Tipu Sultan lost the battle in Srirangapatna, and now what the land they got, Alexander Reed, he devised or he started introduced a system which is the Rayatwari system. And now just after that, the Thomas Munro, he actually took this system to whole southern India part. So all southern part, this Rayatwari system was introduced. It was introduced in the Tipu Sultan area, but later it was, expanded. So what they understood is that we don't have zamindars in the south. That is, we have rayats, we have people or the kisan or the peasant farmer who have one land. Okay, they do cultivation in their land. So rather than talking about some zamindar or any in between, let us talk directly with rayats. Let us talk directly with the peasant farmer. In Mahalwari system, what happened? This is the land, and every part is being inspected, and the revenue was estimated. Same thing is done here. Same thing is done here. Each land part is surveyed properly in the Rayat and Rayati system, and the revenue was estimated. There was no headman, there was no zamindar. Okay, and now Rayati or Rayatwari system, they were saying that we are father of these land or the village, and we need to preserve them also. So this was the Rayatwari system. So Rayat or the revenue was directly taken from the peasant farmer who were called Rayati. Rayat or Rayati, their land have. So this is Rayatwari system. Okay. But things were not well. Now this Mahalwari and Rayatwari, it went for some time. It went on for some time. But the revenue they fixed was quite high in this Rayatwari and Mahalwari also. The Rayats were not able to pay the taxes imposed on them. People were fleeing. These new systems, they worked for some time, but they didn't go well. That is how the plight and the distress of the farmer, it increased. Now we'll talk about crops of Europe, but this we are going to take in the next discussion. Okay. Till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.